All right, welcome everybody. My name is Anto Chan, and I'm really excited to be here for celebrating Asian Heritage Month with Brickyards. And just a huge thank you for the opportunity to be able to share some of my stories and my poetry on such a wonderful month and celebration of this incredible occasion. It is one of my biggest honors to be Asian and also to be able to connect with all the other Asian community. So I really wanted to share about my family, my upbringing. The first thing I'll share is my name. It is Tan Man Ming, and the name Ming. It actually is a combination of two words put together. It is the word day, and it's written like this, and then the right side is moon. So it's actually day and moon, and they put that together. And the word Ming actually means brilliant. So lots of pressure from my family to name me that. And interestingly enough, my brother's name is Chong, Tan Man Chong. So the first Chan is actually, of course, my entire family, everybody's Chan. Man, which is actually specifically so that they know that my parents are my parents, and it's the segment of my brother, my sister, as well as myself. And then Chong is my brother's name. So Chong and Ming put together actually means intelligent. And so even more pressure. And my gongong was the one who named me, my grandfather. And when my brother's name was Chong, immediately when I was about to be born, he was like, why do we even need to think? Sai lam la, it's gonna be Ming. So it's Chong Ming, right? So that's one of the I guess the history of how I was named. And so much comes with the name. Of course, sometimes I feel those pressures, but I also know that it came from a place of joy and love and care for me to be able to give me a name that has so much resonance and so much meaning. I was also brought into this world in a little bit of chaos. My mother actually, when I was before I was born in Montreal, my mother went into the hospital, and she was extremely pregnant at this point, and she was waiting, and then they finally gave her an ultrasound, and then everything was perfect. The doctor said, don't worry, Mrs. Chan, there's going to be an easy birth. That's how you know it was a dude doctor or a guy doctor, is because easy birth, there's no easy birth, they're all hard, right? So she ended up going in 1 week later, and the doctor ended up doing an ultrasound again, and this time I was completely upside down, and they had to actually have an emergency C-section, the exact opposite of an easy birth. So they ended up going in and giving a cut in the side of my mom, and I don't know exactly how that all comes about. If anybody's a doctor wants to give me that info, that'd be great. But I was coming out of there, and then as the doctor had cut there, easy birth doctor, he ended up cutting my butt as well. And at that time, there was a lightning bolt that happened on my butt. I'm not going to show you. And it ended up being like, people would always say, you have a Harry Potter scar. That's what you have. But I actually came before Harry Potter. So actually, Harry Potter has an Anto Chan butt scar on his forehead. That's so that's the thing, is that like all of the years, my mom would always say, you were a problem child before you even came into this world. And that, of course, like I mentioned before, the pressures of being intelligent or being brilliant, and then also paired with, oh, you were a problem child before. There was just the push and the pull of, where would I go? How do I exist as myself in this crazy world, it felt like. And one of the biggest things was seeing how my family treated each other. I was always trying to learn or see where my place was. A couple of the poems that I wanted to share with you is about that complication or the challenges of how many generations of emotional challenges I feel that we had growing up. So the first piece that I would love to share, I wrote this when I was doing I was actually visiting Gibraltar Point, and I wrote this one on the final day as like a summary of my connection and feelings towards my complicated family history. Breathe in, out, out, in, out, out. What do we hold on to, believing it's honoring our ancestral roots, the chosen routes taken, what's given accepting? Make space for our true self, authentic reality, not gifted grief, the weight of reputation, the worries of what others think. What about how these judgments make me feel? I'm so tired of people pleasing, passing pleasures. I'd love nothing more than my ancestors to be proud how far we've come this journey, joyful, jarring, justified. The amount of times I've had to explain who, what, why, where, when will I be allowed to just be? They say the truth shall set us free. Well, that these hidden horrors would be shameful to reveal. We're not here to judge as we have been. We will let the pains of our fragile families be the example, fortified with fierce determination and resilience. The layers of a family tree, each a life lived, relationships complicated. So we must come with the softness we have for ourselves, our inner child, the intentions felt, wanting the best brilliance, the impact of unintentional idealism, breaking the cycle of abuse, abrupt abolition, ending is the new beginning. Setting our children free, the legacy of discernment, setting up the tools, truths, trust. Time transforms trauma. We breathe together. Together. Building upon the base of struggle, we've made it. Thankful for these lives, knowing we can do what's best. The collision course of past, present, future, trilogy of tumultuous transitions, the hope of a fresh start paired with the lessons to lessen the pains of past heartbreak. But my feet grounded, heart open, the breaths counted, in, out, in, out, out. I also really enjoy doing that one too, because it reminds me to ground myself and to be present, also to connect with the multiple generations of family that I come before. This is actually my grandparents here at the top, as well as my aunts at the bottom. This is actually my mom here. And so being able to actually have them, they got my back here. And my cousin was actually the one who painted this. And from last year when I did the intergenerational project. And it was such an honor to be able to acknowledge, of course, my grandparents, my aunts and that generation, but also myself creating the art, as well as my cousin too. So the second poem that I wanted to share was a little bit more painful or challenging to write, because there was so much emotions when it came to how my aunts and my family were able to deal with some of the passings of my grandparents and family members. There was quite a lot of tumultuous pains, and I wanted to just highlight how it affected me at this time. And most of my poetry really comes from a place of not knowing what it is that I'm feeling, and my poetry really helps me distill it so that I can see what it's like. So yeah, this one's called I Forgive. There's so much hidden below the surface. Algae touching my feet, pretending it's not there as I swim, scared it may be something worse. I've been trained to live avoiding pain, hurts, electric eels, shocking conductor. I've had to get out of the water a lot to realign. I'm imagining my cousin's cottage, the dock, the boat, the couches, the rooms, the fires, the family. How much do we run from just to be right? My family's pride tears the peace to shreds, not able to apologize because the fear of what's under the bed, in the walls, in the attic wouldn't be as scary as the unknown. But we sit in this because we are frozen over. Like winter's ice covering the lake, stepping out, worried of falling in, how the temperature changes everything. Hopefully in a couple years, the seasons would change and there will be resolution. Or maybe this is the peace needed. Not everyone needs to have a happy ending together. Maybe toxicity is best dealt with by separating from shared trauma, leaving the childhood suppressions in the past, accepting that we're better off apart. Even if it breaks my heart that it's been years since we've been at their cottage. This one isn't about me. I'm learning to accept I cannot fix everyone, everything. My role isn't to mend bridges. I am here to celebrate that when it does happen and respect that everyone makes choices. That's the life we live. Just like at the cottage, we all choose what our days look like. Some swim across to the island, some barbecue feeding everyone, some go boating, some stay by the fire smoking joints and drinking carlings, some don't even show up. It's not for everyone, and that's okay too. I'll be here, loving all parts of my family, including the scared, scarred, hurt inner children of my aging loved ones. Forgiveness is not about other people either, and that's a big thing that I really tried to share with my family, but to be honest, being in my generation, trying to share that with my parents or my aunts or things, it's just sometimes they don't want to not only hear these things from anyone, but also from the younger generation as well. And that's part of the difficulties, I would say, of being able to communicate is, for myself, therapy has been a huge, huge, huge gift. I've been able to learn and connect to myself with unjudgmental being seen. You know, and so for me, being able to share this with my family, that's not something that they wanted to hear. They don't want that evolution of sorts. They don't want to be able to have that, as maybe some of these memories are for them to remember their past and how they were operating then. And holding on to that comfort is more valuable for them than to step forward into a healed or healing space. So for me, I have to also understand that that's not my life, as I mentioned in the poem. So I do have one more poem that I would like to share. This one is when people started contacting me and asking me, all of the Stop Asian Hate stuff is happening. What do I do? How do I contribute, support, all these things? And I just felt overwhelmed because of all the messages, and I usually stay up late, but this was a special occasion of even later than usual, and feeling as if I didn't really have the answers because I was already so hard on myself for not doing enough to prevent these things. So this piece is called Stop Asian Hate. 3:33 in the morning. Another restless night, mindless, scrolling through my head, this marching voice. Stop Asian hate. Stop Asian hate. Stop Asian hate. But I can't even stop hating myself. Of the parts of me I despise, the surface is the last to get to. Confused, conflicted, distorted reality, uncertain identity. Chinese school, soccer team, teacher's pet, jumping from one circle to another, begging to be accepted, seen, acknowledged, but never doing that for myself. This intergenerational trauma, I feel it in my bones. The customs I never grew accustomed to, keeping me childish. I'm grateful for the cognizance, but what the fuck do I do with awareness? It's part of my crisis. I want to do so much for the next generation of kids born into a country of complacency who want to spread their wings before they're clipped, claimed for corporate, falling into line, marching madness, mechanical, malleable, manageable, monolith, model minority. Am I posting enough? Sharing enough? Caring enough? Acknowledging the victims enough? Why do I have to make this about me again? What could I have done to prevent this? Brushing aside the aggressions, macro, micro, making jokes about bad driving, small eyes, normalized and scrutinized, racialized and victimized. This hatred for myself, these jagged judgments, it's one piece of the puzzle of Asian identity. A drop in the pool of persistence. I keep swimming into love. These pool noodle fights, the Ninja Turtle floaties, the dawn of days mending yesteryear's memories, the magical imperfections embraced. It's 3:34 in the morning, releasing the protest pen, the painted signs. Only together we stop Asian hate. Stop Asian hate. Stop Asian hate. This is how I contribute. Acknowledgements of the inner child, of the reticent, drifting in desperation, angry we can't do more, but we are still here. We are still here. We are still here. And that's enough. So thank you so much for not only taking in my poetry, but getting to know me a little bit more through stories and some of my humor, and just being able to open me up a little bit more to share with the poetry community. It means a lot to me to celebrate Asian Heritage Month with you here at Brickyards. And a big shout out to Janice for bringing me in for this. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to see you soon at one of my shows. And especially this year, we are running Intergenerational again. So I'm really excited about that. So thank you again. Have an incredible, incredible month. Bye, everybody.